A very good morning to all. Am I audible? Welcome, Rashmi, Priya, Manvi. So, where are your other friends? Okay. I hope now I am visible. Yes, Rashmi.
सर जो कि IUCN की लिस्ट है एंड जो रेड डाटा बुक है जिसमें क्रिटिकली एंडेंजर्ड और ये सब स्पेसिफिक ये कहाँ से मिलेगी सर ये लिस्ट वाइल्ड
You
लाइफ
not
प्रोटेक्शन
need to
में
go for the list. Actually, you need not to go for the list. रेड लिस्ट में इंडिया के कौन से इंपॉर्टेंट एनिमल्स हैं दैट 15-20 एनिमल्स यू कैन सर्च ऑन द इंटरनेट है ना मोस्ट यू कैन लाइक सर्च द क्रिटिकली एंडेंजर्ड एनिमल्स ऑफ इंडिया यस
मतलब कोई एक पर्टिकुलर जगह नहीं जहाँ पे डाटा मिल जाएगा
if you have even तो वो डाटा इतना ज्यादा होगा that you won't be able to compile it or concise it.
ओके सर
वो you need not to go in that much detail. थोड़ा बहुत definitely required है but not in that much detail. So go for some 15-20 species only. Hmm? Welcome to all Feroz, Deepak, Manvi, Priya, Rashmi, Anjay. So let's begin. Let's begin. Is there any doubt you people want to ask? कुछ ऐसा जो कल रह गया था पूछने के लिए? Yes. Good morning, Feroz. Okay, then if not, so let's begin. So I was telling you that in the Rio Declaration, that report was the Brundtland report was put, and it was accepted. कि अब से जो भी डेवलपमेंट होगा whatever development the world would be moving towards would be a sustainable development. Thus it became the very part of the framework of UNFCCC. Yes, the 3 summits were there, 3 agreements were there, out of which UNFCCC is the main major. So that sustainable development became a significant part of the framework of UNFCCC, which was on climate change. The concept, you know very well, that concept of sustainable development is all about harmonizing the objectives of economic development. मतलब इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट को इस तरह से करें so that environmental conservation can be, the environmental protection can be carried out, and the social inclusion can also be carried out hand in hand. All these 3, economy, environment and society, right, they all go hand in hand. And for this also, Economic Survey of India, I think this year only, they have said that the development of India should be such. Okay, wait a minute. Line what they have said on the development of India. The Economic Survey says that India's development path should be intertwined with the investment in social infrastructure, and countries' march towards the SDGs should be anchored in investing in the human capital and inclusive growth. That means we need to build the human capital. We need to promote the inclusive growth. And that's how our path of development should be. Getting me? You have to search for these kind of lines. If you can add only a bit of them, quoting the Economic Survey says this, एक दो line भी words भी add कर सके, so that enhances the quality of your answer. Or Economic Survey is a must read document. If not the complete survey, try to find out summary and read from that summary, but it's a must read document for all. Okay. At least for the important topics. Yeah. So I told you sorry, that the concept of sustainable development is in very much compliance with the idea of Gandhi, where he says that his idea of enoughness, that there's enough for everyone's need on earth, but for no one's need. So the idea is very simple. If we all keep on utilizing the resources in a better manner, so then we can learn how to be in harmony with the nature, how not to harm the nature for our needs. Yesterday I was watching one video that was on environment only. So I found that the developed world and the developing world. So I was basically video was on overpopulation. That overpopulation has been the biggest curse. है ना? That this has been the biggest curse, and this is the major thing, something that causes the most of these problems. मतलब लोग कम करो, थानोस बन जाओ. But then in the later phase of that video, what I realized that the Western countries, the per capita emission of a family, not per capita, rather family of 4, their daily, annual per year. Their annual emission amounts to around 26 tons of carbon per year. While when we go to the countries like US, this even reaches above 100. Even reaches above 100. The per capita consumption of non-veg in India is 3 kg. Only 3 kg. While the per capita non-veg consumption in the countries like US is 127 kg. 127 kg. The conclusion of that video was that even in the developing countries, if we increase the population by 3 to 4 billion, the average of world's emission won't be affected much. लेकिन अगर developed world में even if we increase the 10% of population, so there would be a significant change in the per capita emissions, the global per capita emissions. Are you getting my point? Problem population नहीं है, हमारे consumption के तरीके हैं, which where the Western countries are exhaustively, they are doing the resource consumption at a very fast rate, at a very huge rate, which is leading to this problem. So उनको पहले that those countries needed to learn from us that how to sustainably use the resources, how to reduce the ecological footprint of a person. और वो अगर sustainable management सीख गए तो definitely the problem of this 2 degree rise or 1.5 degree, we can all achieve those targets. Because India is the only major country in the world as per the emission gap report, which is well on its way to achieve the NDC targets. Not on its way, beyond its way. Beyond its way. In 2014, we were producing 2 gigawatts of solar energy, only 2. In 2020, we were producing 36 gigawatts of solar energy. 36 gigawatts of solar energy. Getting? And by 2022, this number can significantly boost at least to 80 or 90, if not 100. Though 100 is our target, but it can significantly boost to 80 or 90. So that basically the idea I wanted to give you, okay, sustainable development has always been a part of our culture. Not only it is the unsustainability lies in the manners of the developed world, where they are producing or using the resources at a much larger scale than the Indians. And despite the fact that their population is not even 1/3 of ours. America की population is not even 1/3 of ours. And they are utilizing the resources at least 4 to 10 times in many sectors. Many sectors. Per capita plastic annual consumption of, not annual, I think per capita consumption of plastic in India is 11 kg per person. While this, so not 1.5 kg per person, 1.5. While this reaches to 22 kg in US, 22 kg plastic consumption. और ऐसा ही बहुत सारा डाटा है, where you can see that the Western countries are going towards unsustainability. They are utilizing the resources which are not made available for us, which are totally. I was also reading one more article that Western countries, they waste 1/3 of their food. 1/3 of their food. Same thing happens in India too, I agree. But major emissions, the very first problem is cooling. For today's world is cooling. The second problem is food. I am talking in terms of what causes pollution. In terms of what causes pollution. मतलब ये data कुछ ऐसा था that I have collected, and I wanted to give you an idea about sustainability, the insustainability in the Western world. बस, that's it. तो हम जो गांधी की कैरिंग कैपेसिटी के आइडिया की बात करते हैं ना, कि कहाँ प्रॉब्लम है, where is the problem? This is the problem. Food wasting. अभी report, I think you people have seen that report of FAO, which I asked you to see. At least यहाँ ऐसी reports होती ना, like the recent report which says that every Indian wastes 350 kg of food annually. Yeah, annually. तो ये डाटा, ये रिपोर्ट्स यहाँ से कलेक्ट करते चले, मतलब जो मैं बोलता हूँ उन्हें डेफिनेटली रेफर करो, so that you can utilize it. अभी जैसे आज का ही न्यूज़पेपर है, फर्स्ट पेज पे you will find that Delhi is the most polluted city in the world, capital in the world, capital, most polluted site Bhutan है, China, and just below it is the Ghaziabad, and then Noida, Gurgaon, or Bulandshahr, Meerut, Hapur, and all that. Hisar. Only Bhutan was there on the top. The rest, Indian cities were there, mostly. तो इस तरह का थोड़ा सा डाटा कलेक्ट करते रहा करो, especially on the margins of your copies. So this idea very much revolves around the carrying capacity of Earth, which was given by the idea of enoughness of Mahatma Gandhi. और carrying capacity का idea हम पहले भी पढ़ चुके हैं, Earth overshoot day में. इतनी जल्दी good morning. I think it was not global hunger index. Yeah, report का नाम दूसरा है.
No sir, I am talking about a global hunger index को भी हम उस way में लिख सकते हैं.
Definitely you can write. Definitely. But you can show them that on the one hand this is the amount of food wasted, and on the other hand you can see the people who are going hungry to bed. This data can be given by global hunger index, and this data can be given by the recent report of FAO. ऐसे reports को use कर सकते हो to show the contradiction. और इस तरह की contradiction ऐसे intro में बहुत काम आते हैं, ऐसे का intro देने में बहुत काम आता है. इस तरह के जो भी contradictions होते हैं, you will find them very useful in showing the introductions of essay. Suppose कल को health पर आ गया, you can show that people are stunted on the one hand, while on the other hand the people are overweight. In America they are suffering from obesity. Same for India. And FHS 5 ने कहा है that India is suffering from the twin problems now. One is the poverty and that poor body health. The people are quite malnourished, while on the other hand the obesity has been rising as a big problem in our urban culture. That too should be given the huge attention. ठीक है, चलो कुछ ज़्यादा ही पॉइंट से भटक चुके हैं हम. So coming back to our point, the last point which I want to convey is that we should learn to respect the nature, to use the resources in a judicious manner, in a responsible manner. देखो हम सबकी responsibility बनती है. If we want to live on this planet, we all have a responsibility to share. Failing which, we will deprive our future generations from the natural resources, thus endangering their life on this planet. Suppose करो बहुत से ऐसे resources which we have exhausted will not totally be available for them, so it may not be even possible for them to survive for a longer duration. ऐसा हो सकता है कि आने वाले 500 years में लाइफ ही खत्म हो जाए. Even this is possible. Right? Yes, it's quite possible. There was a movie, I cannot recall, जहाँ the mental ability of people was decreasing rather than increasing. And this was, I think, in 2050 कुछ इस तरह से movie थी. And the mental ability of people was decreasing at a very fast rate. They were using some lab-based chemical as a fertilizer, and then a person who traveled the time and showed them that that human waste or cow waste can be used for the purpose of agriculture manure. So they made him their vice king. मतलब ऐसा कुछ था उस movie में concept. लेकिन concept मुझे अच्छा लगा. Like even this is possible that humans can lose their ability of thinking. Yes. चलो तो आगे बढ़ते हैं. तो जरूरत क्यों है? Why we need the sustainable development in the very first place? We need sustainable development because the problems around us. The over-exploitation of natural resources. 1 million species are on the track of extinction, which includes both the flora and fauna. So I cannot recall the name of that tree. एक ट्री था यहाँ हिमाचल प्रदेश में, है ना. They found that tree is quite helpful in curing the cancer. जो नाम याद नहीं. So they started exploiting the tree, and now the tree is on the verge of extinction. Now the tree is on the verge of extinction. Are you getting my point? We have exploited it at such a rate that the tree itself has become quite endangered. So our over exploitation of natural resources for our needs may definitely lead up. आज तो हम use कर लेंगे उसे. What about our future generation? They won't have that species only. That they can cure their cancer or whatsoever. So such kind of problems, they are becoming more bigger and bigger. I have given you the data that 85% of world fishes, they are basically suffering from some issues. And more than 60% of world marine fisheries are on the decline. ये एक different data है. Yeah, that was related to marine ecosystem और ये marine fisheries related है. Then scarcity of resources. You know, the food production needs to be doubled in every 40 or 50 years because the population doubles, and this leads to what? Overburden on the agricultural land, causing their degradation. So Pacific U. Okay, I'm not aware of Pacific U. Are you talking about the plastic waste that is being collected there, Manvi? Is it all about the plastic waste?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Sir, I'm talking. Sir, I'm talking about the tree that cure cancer.
Okay, not Pacific U. मुझे याद है उसका H से कुछ नाम था. अभी मुझे एग्जैक्टली याद नहीं. मानवी तुम मुझे दिखा क्यों खांस रहे हो? मतलब
Texas brevifolia, something like that. उसका नाम था.
Okay, I'll tell you the name tomorrow.
सर एक्चुअली मेरा गला बहुत ज्यादा खराब है तो बोलने में दिक्कत है.
Okay. मुझे लगा तुम मुझे कॉपी कर रहे हो.
सर
Yes, ठीक.
तो वन मींस एक ग्लो काइंड ऑफ ट्री भी है हिमाचल प्रदेश में जिससे इट इज फॉर द ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ कैंसर सर.
उसका नाम ढूंढता हूँ. I'll be telling you. मुझे बस एग्जैक्टली याद नहीं आ रहा. एक्चुअली इट वाज क्वाइट पॉपुलर. बहुत ज्यादा पॉपुलर हो गया था. नॉट जनरल सोसाइटी को जैसा शायद ना ही पता हो, बट दोज हु आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर यूपीएससी या किसी और इंटेलेक्चुअल लेवल तो शायद उनको पता, क्योंकि it became endangered after some time.
सर
Yes,
वो टैक्सेस ही तो है जिससे एंटी कैंसर ड्रग पैक्लीटैक्सेल बनती है.
Yes. Taxol नाम है ना. बोलना, you can write. Can you write it here, मानवी? मानवी लिख सकते हो क्या? अच्छा वहीं पर. Yes. Taxol ही नाम है जहां तक मुझे याद है. Not पैक्लीटैक्सेल, लेकिन टैक्सल ही कुछ नाम है. Okay, I'll tell you. मुझे बिल्कुल याद नहीं आ रहा. Actually माइंड से उतर जाती कुछ. So the condition get worsened with over the period of time. You know, the food production is to be increased at a very high rate to sustain the population. You remember, किसी को पता है रॉबर्ट माल्थूस के बारे में? रॉबर्ट थॉमस माल्थूस, जिसने भी थोड़ा बहुत माल्थूशियन थ्योरी के बारे में सुना हो. ऑल्दो ये थ्योरी ज्योग्राफी में भी है, ये थ्योरी सोशियोलॉजी में भी है, ये थ्योरी आई फील एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में भी है. You will find this theory of Robert Malthus in kind of most of the humanities subjects. नहीं सुना? Robert Malthus was the first person to give a warning of over the rising population. He said that the population is rising in the form of GP, while the resources like food they increase in the form of AP. Linear manner में food और resources बढ़ते हैं, जबकि population का increment होता है exponential manner. And this leads to a gap which rises with the increase in population between the resources required and resources available. So this basically tells you about when the population would rise, definitely our production or our production capacity would be hampered, you know. 1970s में, rather 60s में, we were producing 57 million tons of food grain. 57 million tons. बहुत कम था. Like we were importing PL480 scheme and all, you know, post independence time. We were suffering from a lot many drawbacks. Then, you know, the green revolution all came, and now we are not only self-sufficient, but we are one of the major exporter of agriculture products in the world, despite the fact that we are the second largest populous country in the world. Second most populous country. We are currently 295 million tons of total food grains, while more than 300 million tons of horticultural crops that India is producing at present. And this is not only fulfilling or kind of sufficing our needs, but also helping us export a lot. But all this needs a great amount of resources in terms of land, labor, fertilizers, emissions are done, water is used. So all this is the resource utilization tendency which is increasing day by day because of the rising population. And on the top of that, if we are wasting our food, that can be the biggest curse. In yesterday's article, the person was saying that the greatest sin a human can consider in present time is that he is wasting the food. Are you getting my point? और you know, हमारे तो घर में शुरू से ही डराते थे. Like when I used to leave, मेरी थोड़ी सी आदत थी, I used to leave half a roti in my plate. My mother used to say कि अगर आधी रोटी छोड़ोगे ना, तो in the later part of life you will only get half roti. Are you getting? That was the fear she used to put in me, so that I should not waste the food. Now I have that habit that I take only that much as I can eat. उससे ज़्यादा मैं लेता ही नहीं. I eat less. ऐसा नहीं है कि कम खाओ, मैं इस तरह की सलाह नहीं दे रहा. I am saying that you should only take as much as you can eat, right? So actually when I was reading one article on waste, then I recalled that such advice of my mother. अच्छा, इसलिए मम्मी बोलती थी. So you can think that people in the past, or I would say people in our forefathers, they ingrained these kind of things in society, either directly or by in a manipulated manner. Getting me? Yes, Deepak. You want to say something? Export data is still not in favor of India's populace. Of what? Food, Deepak?
Yes, sir. Sir, 2018 या 19 का एक डेटा है जिसमें हम लोगों ने पोटैटोस एक्चुअली एक्सपोर्ट किए थे यूरोप में at 4.5 rupees per kg. और
4.5 rupees
per kg. और सर इंडिया में हम लोग वही MSP रेट में दे रहे थे लोगों को 6 रुपए में.
हाँ, और ऑलमोस्ट 20 रुपीज में देख रहा हूँ पिछले 2-3 सालों से. इससे नीचे प्राइस नहीं जाता. 10 या 20 के आसपास इतना मिलता ही.
हाँ, और सर पी साइनाथ की 2005 की एक रिपोर्ट थी. उन्होंने द हिंदू के रिपोर्टर थे वो. सर उन्होंने कहा था कि ये जो पोटैटो भी हम लोग एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं कि यूरोप में लोगों को खाने के लिए दे रहे हैं. वहाँ के जो लाइफ स्टॉक है, गाय, उन लोगों को खाने के लिए हम लोग दे रहे हैं. So उसी में एक आदमी ने बोला था कि what is means one person actually asked an Indian farmer what is your dream. He said that my dream is to be born as a European cow.
Oh my God. But देखो फिर मैं यही बात बोलूँगा. If the Europeans are eating a very good quality food, it is not that they are not suffering from the diseases. Condition उनकी भी वही है जो हमारी है. The only difference that we have with the Europeans is that yes, the quality of life these people are living, but definitely that quality of life, if you compare it with an Indian farmer, जिसकी condition थोड़ी सी ठीक है, not at the verge of like something hungry or type वैसा नहीं है. So I consider that farmer contributing well to the ecology, because देखो ना उनका this is because of their standard of living that they are causing that much pollution. हाँ, मैं उसे justify नहीं कर सकता, because from the economic point of view, definitely the people would say कि मुझे तो वही life चाहिए. From the economic point of view. lot many facilities are there. So definitely I would agree कि हाँ, people want that life. But on the ecology, the front of ecology, I would say that the Indian farmer is leading a much better life. He's causing much less pollution than any of the European or American. But हाँ, मैं उसे justify नहीं कर सकता because you know there are a lot many economic hardships that our farmers have to face or our poor have to face. So we need हमें मतलब it's not कि हमें उसी रास्ते पर चलना है. This is my point of view. This is not that we have to follow them. We can create our own way. We can give our farmers at least that much support that they can. पता है बहुत कम में कंटेंट हो जाते हैं इंडियंस. Although कुछ ambitious लोगों की बात छोड़ दी जाए, तो most of the Indians they get contented in very less. थोड़ा सा भी मिल जाए ना, they become contented. ठीक है, अभी चाहिए, हम खुश हैं, इतने में खुश हैं. You might have heard your parents कि ठीक है, इतने में खुश है, अभी चाहिए. Something like that. If someone is not ambitious enough, है ना, तो लोग ज़्यादा ambitious होते हैं, they definitely are not contented. कोई एग्री नहीं कर रहा मेरी बात से, ऐसा नहीं है क्या? मतलब I have seen this thing in society, इसलिए मैंने ये पॉइंट रखा. बट आई थिंक बाकी लोगों के साथ ऐसा नहीं है रिंजे. नेहा
ऐसे
ओके, एंड यू आर नॉट देयर.
इसे कोई आपके अब सुनाई दी मुझे आवाज.
I was asking कि Indians become contented and very less when they get a bit of more from their expectation, तो वो content हो जाते हैं. बस इतना ही चाहिए था, भगवान हो गया काफी.
सर हमने मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स, मेरा कोर्स था इंजीनियरिंग में, यूनिवर्सिटी इलेक्टिव था, उसमें हमने भी स्टडी दिस हाइपोथेसिस. नाम नहीं आता कौन था इकोनॉमिस्ट, और उसने बताया था कि सर जो हम लोग दिस कंटेंटनेस जिसकी हम बात करते थे, दिस इज ओनली इन रिलेटिव टू आवर नेबर्स डिग्री ऑफ कंटेंट.
ये भी बात सच है.
हम पड़ोसी को देखते हैं. हमारा मतलब बेसिकली जो मतलब जो शौक हम पालते हैं या फिर
that comes from our society,
desires and our requirements, they may be necessary or not, but एक बार वो fulfill आती है ना जो necessary और essential requirements थी, उसके बाद whatever expenses or whatever desires that we have, they are mostly fueled by our ambition to compete with our neighbor. कि अगर उसके पास गाड़ी है, उसके पास 2-3 मंजिला मकान है, तो हम भी वही सोचेंगे, मतलब यार हमारे पास नहीं. तो it is basically a neighbor fueled competition जो हमें.
This I can agree with.
तो जिस इन्वायरमेंट में बंदा रहना है, तो अपनी इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस को उसी हिसाब से देखेगा, वो उसका रिफ्लेक्शन उसी से होगा जिस मतलब समाज में रहता है वो.
Definitely. But still, I have seen people, like especially my grandparents, or we, that people are contented. They say whatever we have is good. Maybe they have more than their relatives or neighbors. Being content. Deepak, I can agree with you on one term, but not on other. मतलब ठीक है, कुछ partially I can agree, partially I can disagree with you. Availability of resources matter करती है, नहीं भी करती है. Even if there are resources, तो जरूरी नहीं है that we expect them to have. This is a possibility.
Yeah, sir. Yes, I would also say, but the statement which I made is actually also based on another idea. It's called Boethius' consolation of philosophy, where he said that the people are actually doing only as much as they want to, and only और उतना ही जितना में वो खुद खुश है. So if you are really talking about the sustainable developments, then they are not necessarily thinking in the sustainable manner, where they are not thinking about the future generation or the availability of the resources for other people.
I agree. I totally agree. We are not thinking, but I agree on this term that our forefathers, whosoever were, they have manipulated the things in a manner कि हमारा mindset वो develop हो गया है. हम अच्छा कुछ सोचना नहीं चाहते या कर नहीं रहे, but indirectly हम कर रहे हैं. Getting me? You're not into it directly, but yes, indirectly. की वजह से करते हैं. हाँ, I agree on this, Manvi. This concept is totally true. और रश्मि की भी बात सही है. You people are totally correct कि ये कंपटीशन तो हमेशा देखने को मिलेगा, you know, अपने ही घर में देखने को मिलेगा. Even you might be competing with your peers. उन्हें छोड़ो, even you would be competing with your peers at time, right?
सर
Yes.
जैसे आज की रिपोर्ट है पॉल्यूशन वाली, तो मतलब न्यूज में ये तो लिखा हुआ है दैट इंडिया की क्या रैंक है, बट उसमें ये भी लिखा हुआ है दैट चाइना की 11th रैंक है. उससे पूरा मतलब
Definitely. So yes, we are competing at different levels. Yes, that's true. But ऐसा होता है ना कि कई बहुत सारे players ऐसे होते हैं कि हम यहाँ खड़े हैं और वो यहाँ खड़े हैं, तो हम सोचते हैं ठीक है, छोड़ो भाई, इतना तो नहीं कर पाएंगे, इतना ही कर लेंगे. This also happens. Yes. चलो वापस आते हैं. So nearly 2/3 of the water will be living in the water scarce or water stressed areas by the 2025. और ये डाटा है वर्ल्ड बैंक का कि water is going to be a very serious problem in the coming future. Very serious problem. Although with the technologies like the sea water, अगर हम sea water को recycle करके use कर पाए, so that can be, desalination can be an alternative. We have to search for the alternatives, but still that would be a costly affair, and the availability would not be as easy to dig a pump. Yes, you know what happened in our society, that initially there were water hand pumps. Maybe 20 years back, there were water hand pumps. They were operating, right? Operable. They were working. After 5 years, the hand pumps, they replaced with, I don't know what the word we used was, jet. Jet. So jet, we use starting jet. That was just for hardly 20 to 25 meters. Then finally it was replaced by the submersibles. So these pumps were replaced. Now the level of water has gone to 70 to 100 meters at different places. 70 to 100 meters. People have started digging much deeper, much wider to install more heavy pumps, and the water level is going further and further down. So, you know, only those who can afford to dig such a deep hole, they only can avail the water. What about others? Those who are but bit on the poor side of society, they won't be able to do it. And similarly for the farmers, things are same for the farmers. So this would push more than 2/3 of the world population towards the water scarcity levels. और ऐसा मजबूरी में करना पड़ता है. You have to do. If your neighbor is having a much deeper pump, the water in your pump would be of very low quality. So you have to do it. Either you are compelled to do it. Then climate change is another big problem. Climate change is another big problem. Due to rising this climate, you know, with the IPCC report of 2014, the fifth assessment report very well explains that climate change is a reality. In their 2017 special report, they have given this fact that 1 degree rise in the temperature has occurred from the pre-industrial level. So we are talking about keeping it below 2 degree, लेकिन 1 degree हो गया. And we are also kind of targeting 1.5 degree, जो कि अब possible ही नहीं लगता, because it is said कि 2025 तक 1.5 degree पहुंच जाएंगे हम. And the problems of global warming, problems of the ocean acidification, the problems of plastic waste. They all are increasing. They all are increasing day by day. And that is somewhere very well related to our unsustainable use of resources. Yes. the unsustainability in our resource utilization, whether it is power consumption, we keep our fan and lights on while we are moving out of our room. So then, then finally, we can talk about the rising sea level and the global warming, which is leading to the submergence or partial submergence of many island and coastal nations. Like we can talk about the Maldives, we can talk about Bangladesh. Yes, many such countries are on the verge of submergence. Indonesia, Philippines, many of these countries are facing the problem of rising sea level. Yesterday, I was watching one more video on America that 22 American cities on the coastal areas, they might be partially submerged. Despite this, they are having very high real estate prices. And you know, every summer they suffer from flooding. And that flooding is because of the rising sea level. The sea level inundates a large part of city. And that's it. Those cities are made in the sea. They have been made by kind of taking the land from the sea. So that was actually the part of sea. So now they have made just these kind of strips. They have made homes there, but the seawater ingresses. Seawater ingresses, and despite this, they have real estate boom in these locations. And it is expected that in the 15 or 20 years, these cities won't be able to survive. They won't be able to livable. They won't be livable. Yes. So for all this, we need to change the things. We need to change things. Not only in these terms. अगर society के terms में बात करें, so we are suffering from the problems like hunger. Hunger. You know, 1/3 of the world population is suffering from hunger. You might have heard about the data on poverty. Very significant amount numbers is still there, which is lying below the absolute poverty. You understand absolute poverty or the extreme poverty? The population which does not have money, which is not earning $1.25 a day. ये World Bank का data, although now it has been changed to $1.9 a day. यानी कि if the person is not getting around 97 rupees a day, he or she is under absolute poor category. और इंडिया में ऐसी population शायद more than 35% हो सकती है, 35 to 40%. Getting me? Because we are having the line at 27 rupees per day or 33 rupees per day. Rangarajan committee or Tendulkar committee. In that sense, we have a lot of poverty, a lot of hunger. The problem of health has been worsened, especially after this COVID-19 scenario. When the people, the sustainability not only comes in terms of ecology, not only in terms of economy. Society भी livable condition में रहनी चाहिए. Then only it can sustain for long. Then only it can contribute for the development, for the betterment of the world we are living in. Otherwise, it won't give anything. Otherwise, it won't give anything. So, integrating all these aspects which I have told you about the society, economy, ecology, they contribute towards the need कि हमें ऐसा कुछ चाहिए. Some goals are to be such that the world should be heading towards them. Yeah? You cannot do the goal until you know where the goal post is. Yes. So this was decided. This was decided when? This was finally decided in 2012. The Rio Plus 20 summit. Rio Plus 20 summit. पहले सबसे पहले कहाँ decide हुआ था? This was basically decided in 1992 Earth Summit that the world would be heading towards the Millennium Development Goals. और यहाँ पर इन्होंने 8 goals दिए under the 18-point criteria, and these 8 goals were the first such movement which the world was heading towards. So finally, in 2015, the time period of these goals ended. But the first goal was achieved. Few goals were achieved, that including the first one. The first one was with the idea that reducing the extreme poverty by half. reducing the extreme poverty by half. By half. That was the very first goal, and that was driven by the countries like China. That was achieved on the backdrop of this China and this India. India achieved the first goal. Even China did much better. You know, बता ही चुका हूँ, China has now said that there is no absolute poverty in their country, and that too on their terms of $2.3 a day. $2.3 a day. That means around 165 rupees per day. Everyone in China is earning this much. तो इंडिया और चाइना वो कंट्रीज थी जिन्होंने उस गोल को अचीव कर लिया. They achieved this goal of reducing the extreme poverty by half. And when the first goal was achieved, it said, okay, we have done a good job, and now we should move ahead. And then finally, there was Rio +20 summit in Rio again, and this was kind of third Earth summit. Yeah? First was in Rio only, second was in Johannesburg, and third one was in Rio again. Conference on Sustainable Development. So in this it was decided कि अभी तक तो 2015 तक का मामला तो सेट है MDGs के अंडर में. What we will be doing after post 2015? What would be our mode of development after 2015? So we need new goals. So there was screening of a documentary, और उस documentary का नाम था The Future We Want. The Future We Want. और कुछ बहुत इमोशनल दिखा दिया हुआ उसमें. Yes, एक साइड पे दिखा दिया हुआ ऐसी गरीबी चाहते हैं हम या ऐसी अमीरी चाहते हैं. Definitely you can agree on this. That what kind of future we people want. तो leaders भी बहुत ज़्यादा इमोशनल हो गए. Finally, this documentary or this report, Future We Want, paved the way for sustainable development goals. And it was decided that 17 goals with basically 17 targets हैं, 169 total number of goals हैं. So these were included in the 17 major goals, and these 17 categories were decided as the framework of development for the duration of 2015 to 2030 for the entire world. Yes, and this is how we started moving. अच्छा, अब एक क्वेश्चन यहाँ पर, that what do you feel India has done to achieve its SDGs? In what areas, several of the goals. So what do you feel that India has done for achieving the SDGs? Yes.
Sir, in Zero Hunger, that is the Sustainable Development Goal 2, sir, India has actually gave loans to its farmers, the Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana, the Soil Health Card Scheme, and the railway lines for the storing, for the cold storage of food and
relate them to the particular SDG. बात सब ठीक है.
Yeah, so sir, Zero Hunger because it has led to the food sufficiency.
Zero Hunger, Poshan Abhiyan, है ना, ICDS, all they are leading to second goal of Zero Hunger, है ना. Then Manrega, and then there are other programs by the government to support the livelihood, and that is basically to reduce the poverty, and that has been done. Yes, PDS भी include कर सकते हो इसमें, है ना, छत्तीसगढ़ वाला. Then this can go for the goal 1, ending extreme poverty. Yes, go on.
So, or the report of State of School Feeding Worldwide report, जिसमें 388 million children were feeding, sir, in case of pandemic, sir, in India.
प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण योजना. प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण योजना. The food was provided to 800 million people. Go on.
And sir, report of the NITI Aayog, जिसमें aspirational district program ADP that result in a government program to impose ease of living in 112 most underdeveloped districts, sir. And another reports were also I'm not able to recall. And so also
connect them with the SDGs. Forest वाला connect कर दूँ, SDG 14 connecting with our NDC goals. We have increased as per ISFR report.
So
ऐसे
we can
कनेक्ट करके दो ना मुझे.
goal 3, that is good health and well-being. So we can connect this ADP in that, sir. And for
ADP.
the aspirational district program, sir.
ओके चलो
ADP.
एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रोग्राम है या फिर
सर
प्रधानमंत्री
जन औषधि योजना,
जन औषधि योजना है, आयुष्मान योजना है. यस यस गुड गुड है ना. इस तरह कनेक्ट करना चाहिए जेडीवाई और आधार पर जनधन योजना दैट यू कैन कनेक्ट विद द पॉवर्टी है ना. इंक्लूसिव प्रोग्राम, द इंक्लूसिवनेस प्रोग्राम. यस.
In case of gender equality, can we add this women's reservation and stand up
हर
and
घर
stand
जल योजना, SDG 6 वाटर, डेफिनेटली यू आर गोइंग राइट, यू आर करेक्ट. यस प्रिया. तो जेंडर डेवलपमेंट के लिए क्या
स्टैंड अप इंडिया स्कीम भी है सर. हाँ,
यस
स्टैंड अप इंडिया स्कीम फॉर एनकरेजिंग द वुमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स एंड MSMEs
बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ. Then we have reservations
ZED
in different DD.
ZED scheme for the
clean in
environment.
SDG, that SDG 9 and 11 in clean industrial development. फिर स्वच्छ भारत अभियान, cleaner and sustainable cities, SDG 11.
Yeah, SDG 4 sir, for quality education. There is this
Quality education
committee in the new education policy, and the reforms in the Sainik school and the encouragement to the Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya.
Improvements in the livelihood of tribals. Ecology hostels are there. Then there are some other school, I cannot recall the name.
Yes, the Kalinga Institute of Technology and the Kalinga Institute of Social Science. On that model, the government has approached the Achyut Samantare, the pioneer of this, and in their collaboration, they are also making education and sanitation for free of cost for tribal people.
Good. Not only this, the NGO is also working, like Goonj Food for Work program. पता है किसी को? Goonj. Then there's Akshay Patra, distributing more than 3 million or something. I think they have distributed more than 1 crore meals and have become partners of this midday meal program at various levels. Akshay Patra Society. Then you can, right now you can. The aquatic, this project of Sagarmala for infrastructure. Then underwater ecosystem SDG 13, I feel that can be related to the blue economy concept of Modi ji. We are promoting the fisheries and all so that the blue economy can be promoted. Yes, that's how you need to incorporate things and to relate them and to learn them. बहुत सारी schemes पर बात कर ली हमने एक साथ. So thing is, you need to incorporate the things to link them and then to utilize them in your answers. उनको एक साथ लेकर आओ.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, आपने बहुत पहले एक question दिया था, how curbing air pollution would help us achieve the targets of SDG.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, sir, when I'm writing, in one way, all the 17 SDGs can be achieved through this one by curbing the air pollution, directly and indirectly.
तो उसमें क्या करना चाहिए? सुनो मेरी बात पहले. उसमें एक इंट्रो दो, 2-4 लाइन से बताओ कि एयर पोल्यूशन कर्ब करने से हमें कैसे फायदा होगा. देन एक लाइन दो यहाँ पर कि हाउ वी कैन हेल्प इन अचीविंग द एसडीजीज. फिर यहाँ पर करीब 9-10 पॉइंट्स दो जिनमें एक में 2 गोल्स भी आ सकते हैं. कई बार 9-10 पॉइंट्स दो, फाइनली कंक्लूड करो. सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है कि हाउ वी कैन हेल्प इन अचीविंग एसडीजीज. दैट्स. और बताओ आप दीपक.
Sir, I was writing this only in that way, only tabular form में वो भी. Sir, but the problem is that when we are writing in support of the SDGs की SDG 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 तो ऐसे ही achieve हो जाएगी. If we curb the air pollution, then sir, we have to assume that the points are self-explanatory, though they are. Sir, because अगर हम कहते हैं that this will result in the greater food production, efficiency in food management, this and that. Sir, do we have to explain how?
No.
Then answer exceeds 500 words.
At times you need to give a supportive argument कि ऐसा किसी organization ने बोला. At times you have to do this. Not in every point, but at least out of 10, in 4 points you have to have the supportive argument.
Okay.
कि इस organization ने ऐसा कहा था, यानी उसके पास proof है. मैं नहीं दे सकता, but उसके पास proof है. If you are writing like that, the agricultural efficiency would be improved as per ICAR लिख दो. एज पर आईका लिख दो। जनरली होता क्या है कि मतलब सही है, ऐसा चल जाता है काम कि इंडियन काउंसिल फॉर एग्रीकल्चर रिसर्च ने ऐसा बोला। गेटिंग मी और नॉट? इफ यू आर नॉट हैविंग तो ऐसा कर सकते हैं, इफ यू आर हैविंग तो फिर तो बढ़िया है, डाटा लिख दो सीधे that this has been done in this particular area, ऐसा वहां पर हुआ, या ये रिपोर्ट ऐसा कहती है। You should be writing at least, अगर 10 पॉइंट्स हैं आपके पास तो उसमें से 4 में सपोर्टिव आर्ग्यूमेंट होना चाहिए आपके पास। That gives an kind of credibility to your answer कि जो आप बोल रहे हैं वो ऐसे ही हवा में नहीं बोल रहे। You have that information from a concrete background. Yes? तो आंसर शायद बहुत कम लोगों ने लिखा था, आई थिंक 1 or 2। यस भैया।
सर द आंसर आई हैड रोट ऑन, जो अभी दीपक बात कर रहा था, देन सर यू सेड के स्ट्रक्चर जो है वो सही नहीं है, सो सर हाउ शुड आई स्ट्रक्चर द आंसर सर? और द
भैया
कंटेंट
आपके क्वेश्चन में प्रॉब्लम ये थी कि आप कंटेंट को लिखे जा रहे हो बस, है ना, आप जो भी आपके पास डाटा है आप बस आप उसे लिखे जा रहे हो, आप उसे फिट नहीं कर रहे एज पर द डिमांड ऑफ क्वेश्चन। क्वेश्चन की स्ट्रक्चरिंग करना बहुत जरूरी है। व्हाट दे हैव आस्क्ड यू इन द क्वेश्चन उसे पढ़ो, फिर उसके 3 और 4 मेजर पॉइंट्स बनाओ कि अच्छा ठीक है इस कैटेगरी के अंदर ये लिखा है मुझे, फिर ये इस कैटेगरी के अंदर ये, और पूछा क्या है क्वेश्चन में उसके अकॉर्डिंग ही ये 4-5 पॉइंट डिसाइड होते हैं। जनरली 4 ही रहते हैं, इंट्रो, प्रोज, कॉन्स और कंक्लूजन, जनरली 4 ही होते हैं। लाइक आई गेव यू द क्वेश्चन व्हाट इज सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी, क्वेश्चन उठा लेते हैं। हाँ, व्हाट इज सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी, और क्या था उस क्वेश्चन में पार्ट दूसरा, कैन यू रिकॉल? व्हाट इज सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी, हाउ इट कैन हेल्प इन अचीविंग द सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, है ना, अचीविंग द सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, and discuss or explain its feasibility in context of Indian economy. Explain its feasibility in context of Indian economy. Explain its feasibility in context of Indian economy. अब क्या करना है इस क्वेश्चन में, क्या पूछ रहा है? सबसे पहले चाहिए मुझे डेफिनेशन सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी है क्या। आई थिंक लक्ष्मी हैज डिड अ ग्रेट जॉब इन डिफाइनिंग इट, है ना, कि ये what it is a kind of economy where the waste is treated as a resource, and this is a kind of cyclical concept where the efficiency and shelf life of product has been increased, है ना। तो 4R में नहीं जाना, पहले ये देखो कि यहाँ पर क्या पूछ रहा है। 4R तो उसका सॉल्यूशन है। 4R ये यू कैन से कि 4R यहाँ पर यूज होता है, बट वो नेक्स्ट लाइन में आएगा, नेक्स्ट लाइन में आएगा। पहली लाइन में सिर्फ डेफिनेशन दो कि ये है क्या, थोड़ा सा बता दो कि ये लीनियर इकोनॉमी से कैसे डिफरेंट है विद इन अ लाइन, कि यहाँ पर फिर यूज कर सकते हो 4R को, ठीक है, रीयूज और रिसाइकलिंग 2-3 वर्ड्स, मतलब ठीक है, ये पूरा 4R नहीं यूज हो रहा है, तो रिसाइकलिंग एंड रीयूज यहाँ पर होता है, जबकि लीनियर इकोनॉमी में वी ट्रीट द वेस्ट एज वेस्ट ओनली, वी टेक द रिसोर्सेज, यूज देम, थ्रो देम एज वेस्ट, while in circular economy we take the resources, use them, they make them waste, then waste can be used as a raw material again, and then recycling of the product can be done, or we can improve its life cycle by adding on some inputs from the waste. That is how we are promoting the circular economy. Then we should write how it can help in the achievement of sustainable development goals. So when we are increasing the shelf life, we are utilizing the waste. तो 2-3 जो बहुत बड़ी समस्याएं हैं, like the waste generation, the large scale generation of e-waste in India, which has made India the 3rd largest e-waste generator in the world, one of the largest emitters, 3rd largest emitter in the world. हम emissions कम कर सकते हैं by reducing the manufacturing. अगर हम बार बार उस प्रोडक्ट को ज्यादा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग किए बिना यूज कर सके, तो that would reduce the emission by a significant amount, reducing India's emissions. Then we can talk about e-waste. E-waste में कितना सारा प्रोडक्ट हम अंदर यूज कर सकते हैं. Then we can talk about plastics. A large amount of plastic can be recycled, which is a great menace for India and the world. Yes, in these many terms we can help कि इस तरह से ये प्रॉब्लम, like emission कम करेंगे तो एयर पोल्यूशन वाला SDG में हेल्प मिलेगी, हेल्थ में हेल्प मिलेगी. अगर हम वेस्ट को मैनेज कर लेंगे with the help of circular economy, so we will be able to develop the sustainable cities under SDG 11, है ना. फिर हम रिसोर्स यूटिलाइजेशन को कम कर देंगे तो हमारे फॉरेस्ट सेव हो सकेंगे, SDG 14 अचीव्ड. हम अलग लाइवलीहुड जनरेट कर देंगे सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी से, दैट वुड हेल्प प्रमोट लाइवलीहुड, तो SDG 1 अचीव. हंगर और पॉवर्टी वाला प्रॉब्लम खत्म हो जाएगा धीरे धीरे, है ना. पॉवर्टी खत्म हो जाएगी ना अगर लाइवलीहुड जनरेट कर सकते हैं. तो दीस पॉइंट्स यू हैव टू राइट दैट हाउ वी कैन अचीव. अब यहाँ पर एक छोटा सा एड ऑन आता है, लिमिटेशन. पूछी नहीं है क्वेश्चन में, लेकिन यू हैव टू टेल. यू वांट टू राइट इन, ज्यादा नहीं, बस थोड़ा सा, हार्डली 4 और 5 लाइन्स में लिख सकते हैं या 2 और 3 पॉइंट्स में लिख सकते हैं कि दो दिस कैन बी डन बट देयर आर सर्टेन लिमिटेशंस ऑफ सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी. The recycled product may not have that quality, may not have that acceptance in the demand. The demand for the secondary products, they may not be there. भाई कोई second hand mobile नहीं खरीदना चाहता. Yes, second hand electronic products, they are not in demand. Use that example. Then tell them कि अच्छा यहाँ पर थोड़ी सी limitations है circular economy. Then come to this last point, fourth point. How this feasibility is there in the context of Indian economy. तो वो जो points ऊपर use किए थे, वो इंडिया, वहां पर इंडिया मत लिखना कहीं, अब लिखना इंडिया. That India is the third largest emitter, India is the third largest emitter of EVs. So India can go for the circular economy by utilizing the great amount of waste it generates and then turning this into useful material, especially when India is running for the solar. देखो renewable energy में solar panels का use कर रहे हैं. If we cannot recycle them, they will become a great waste in the future. We should learn them. फिर सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी कंसेप्ट पर बार बार फोकस करो कि बात करनी है कुछ ऐसा जो रिसाइकल करके यूज कर सके, कुछ ऐसा जो हमारे एमिशंस को रिड्यूस कर सके. फिर कंटेक्स्ट में बात करो कि दैट इंडिया को एक डाटा है, एक रिपोर्ट है, मुझे याद नहीं है, ऐसा कोई डाटा हो दैट कैन इंप्रूव द क्रेडिबिलिटी ऑफ योर आंसर, क्रेडिबिलिटी ऑफ योर आंसर. और यहाँ पर कुछ डायग्राम जरूरी है, बीच में एक डायग्राम बन सकता है, लाइक यू कैन ड्रॉ द सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी इन दिस फैशन, लीनियर इकोनॉमी इन दिस फैशन, राइट. कि लीनियर इकोनॉमी में यूज मेक यूज वेस्ट, सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी मेक यूज रिसाइकल देन रीयूज. तो इस तरह की छोटे-छोटे डायग्राम बना दोगे तो एक लुक बढ़ जाता है आंसर का. द एग्जामिनर टेक्स इंटरेस्ट इन चेकिंग योर कॉपी. ठीक है. एट लास्ट कैसे इंडिया के लिए फिजिबल है, एक डाटा है वो मैं दे दूंगा, दैट आई हैव यूज्ड. बेसिकली इस पर आंसर मैंने लिखा हुआ है, मैं आपको डाटा भी दे दूंगा. एंड यू कैन राइट कि इंडिया ऑलरेडी वेस्ट की प्रॉब्लम से सफर कर रहा है, इंडिया को SDGs अचीव करने के लिए ये चीजें चाहिए. और देन ऑल्सो गिव्स अ लिमिटेशन दैट इंडिया इज फेसिंग विद सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी, कि इंडिया के लिए सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी को अडॉप्ट करना आसान नहीं होगा बिकॉज ऑफ दीज रीजन. और ये बहुत कंसाइज वे में करना है, क्योंकि ये क्या है, तरह का कंक्लूजन है, 4 और पॉइंट्स में खत्म हो जाएगा. नेहा प्रसाद, it totally depends on how many parts are there in the question and how many marks the question is of. If suppose this type of question is there within 10 marks, so you know you have to write 150 words at max. At max. कभी भी ज्यादा लिखने की कोशिश मत करना, क्योंकि पेपर छूट जाएगा. If you can write, it's well and good. तो ये अगर 10 मार्क्स का पेपर क्वेश्चन है, 150 नंबर का, इसके 3 पार्ट्स है. That means 50 parts each, 50 words for each. 50 words for each मतलब ये वाला पार्ट तो डेफिनेशन बहुत छोटी है, हार्डली 20 to 25 वर्ड्स में लिख के निकल. Then come to this part. ये वाला जो पार्ट है इसको थोड़ा बड़ा रखना. How we can achieve the SDGs. इसको लगभग you should try to complete this in 80 words classes, and then finally give 20 to 30 words to this part, and finally finish the answer. और उसमें you can kind of generate at least, इसमें तो कोई पॉइंट बनेगा नहीं, इसमें 5 to 6 पॉइंट्स, लिमिटेशंस में 2 या 3 पॉइंट्स और कंक्लूजन में 2 या 3 पॉइंट्स इफ नीडेड. दैट्स इट. हाँ, you can, Deepak, you can with time you will learn how to write. बट अगर जनरली क्या होता है, इस बड़े क्वेश्चन जो बनते हैं दे आर ऑफ 250 वर्ड्स और 15 मार्क्स के, तो इन दैट यू कैन इंक्रीज द नंबर ऑफ पॉइंट्स, है ना, और यू कैन इंक्रीज द डाटा इन योर पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट्स. जनरली यही होगा, यू वुड बी हैविंग फॉर सेकंड पार्ट 6 पॉइंट्स के आसपास, फॉर लास्ट पार्ट यू वुड बी हैविंग 2 to 3 पॉइंट्स, और लिमिटेशंस के लिए 2 to 3 पॉइंट्स. फर्स्ट पार्ट में डेफिनेशन, एक डायग्राम. बस करना ये है, व्हेन यू आर राइटिंग इन 250 वर्ड्स उसे थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेनेटरी बनाते चलो, और जब when you are writing in 150 words उसे बहुत कंसाइज करते चलो फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग. That is actually a very big issue man. Actually a very big issue. टाइम मैनेजमेंट का ही खेल है यूपीएससी. और ऐसा नहीं है वहां पर आज से फ्रॉम द वेरी बिगिनिंग यू हैव स्टार्टेड प्रिपेयरिंग, तभी से पूरा खेल है टाइम मैनेजमेंट का. And for this solution, only one solution lies there, that is practice. Practice to manage your time, practice to write this in an order, practice to incorporate the data, diagrams, ये सब practice के साथ आता है. At this point of time, you all are capable enough to write one answer daily. One answer daily. तो जैसे खाना डेली खाते हो ना, you should make this a habit. देखो मैं सीधे बताता हूँ पूरा गेम मेंस का. हाँ प्रीलिम्स का गेम है, बहुत टफ गेम है, बट दैट कैन बी डन. मतलब उसमें थोड़ी सी मेहनत करोगे तो आसानी से हो सकता है. एक बार मेंस में नंबर नहीं मिले तो कोई फायदा नहीं है. फंसे जाओगे आईएएस, मिलेगा आईआरटीएस, रेलवे में घूमते रहोगे और फिर खुद को भी गालियां दोगे और बाकी लोगों को. हाँ मतलब दैट बिकम्स फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग. और फिर बाद में लोग छोड़ भी देते हैं क्या. तो यू शुड ट्राई टू मैनेज दिस इन दैट मैनर. ठीक है, और कोई सवाल और कोई क्वेश्चन वापस आ जाए टू आवर मोड. चलो ठीक है. तो where we were discussing that sustainable development goals को कैसे मतलब how India is progressing towards. तो अब इंडिया की बात कर लेते हैं. तो इंडिया इज वेरी मच कमिटेड टुवर्ड्स अचीवमेंट ऑफ 17 डेवलपमेंट गोल्स. हमारे यहाँ मॉनिटरिंग और इम्प्लीमेंटिंग एजेंसी जो है वो नीति आयोग को बना दिया गया. दे आर बेसिकली मॉनिटरिंग कि इंडिया एसडीजीज के लिए किस तरफ बढ़ रहा है, हाउ वी आर अचीविंग आवर एसडीजीज. एंड फॉर दिस इंडिया इज डेफिनेटली डूइंग गुड अंडर नीति आयोग. वी हैव द नीति आयोग विद द हेल्प ऑफ several international organizations. We have been releasing the SDG India Index. So pehli I think we released in 2017 and second we have released in 2019 if I'm correct. Dekh lena. So India has actually done a great job, and this index will tell you that the states like Tamil Nadu or Kerala, they are doing very good. Even the Himachal Pradesh is doing good. While there are several aspirational states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, not Bihar. Bihar is not good in performance, but UP was last year I feel in aspirational. Now they have done a good job. So you can learn from that, and you can see that how the states are performing, and that can be used in data of various answers, right? तो जो नई रिपोर्ट आएगी उसका डाटा जरूर देखना है ना. SDG नीति आयोग इंडेक्स, SDG इंडिया इंडेक्स बाय नीति आयोग. ठीक है. तो दिस एंड्स सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, बट मिक्स हो गया है. हाँ तो भाई आई कैन से कि हाँ ऐसा होता है प्रिया जायसवाल, बट विद टाइम यू हैव टू काइंड ऑफ मेक सेपरेट. तभी तो बोलता हूँ ना, सेपरेट कॉपीज रखो अपने नोट्स की. एंड दैट सेपरेट कॉपीज वुड हेल्प यू कि यहाँ पर कुछ डाटा है, यहाँ पर फिर एक डाटा कॉपी बना लो कि अच्छा हेल्थ पर मेरे पास ये डाटा है, इस पेज पर 2 पेज छोड़ दो. Then I have some data on food or malnutrition, तो 3 or 4 pages के ये अच्छा ठीक है. Then I have some data on women and society, तो ये 3-4 पेज. Some data on economic front, 3-4 पेज. And then subdivide them. तो that will basically help you. और उसको बार-बार डिवाइस करो. That will take you definitely to the wonders. मतलब डाटा लिखने में महारत हो गई. हाँ, और डाटा इतना ज्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए इन वन आंसर. देयर शुड बी एट अ मैक्स 2 to 3 such statements. Yes, only 2 to 3 such statements which are using some data, quote or reports. Not more than that. Otherwise आंसर लिखने जाते हैं और आंसर की जगह डाटा लिखकर आ जाता है. स्ट्रक्चरिंग करने का ये प्रॉब्लम होता है बाद में कि अगर आपके पास बहुत ज्यादा डाटा है तो you will not be able to incorporate it. इसलिए कहता हूँ कि ठीक है कम पढ़ो, है ना, मतलब रीड इन अ कंसाइज मैनर, और अगर कंसाइज चीजें होंगी आपके पास तो यू विल बी एबल टू यूज देम इन कंसाइज मैनर। देखो आई एम ऑफ द कैटेगरी कि कम पढ़ो, मैं ये नहीं कहूंगा कि ज्यादा पढ़ो, ऑल्दो अब शायद इस बात से तुम एग्री भी ना करो लेकिन आई एम ऑफ द कैटेगरी कि कम पढ़ो, ऑल्दो आई हैव रिकमेंडेड लॉट मेनी थिंग्स, बट मैं ये भी जानता हूँ कि वो किसी ने पढ़ी नहीं होगी, तो कम पढ़ो, बट हाँ मतलब किसी रिपोर्ट को पूरा पढ़ने की कभी जरूरत नहीं पड़ती, बिलीव मी, पढ़ने बैठोगे तब भी आप वही 4 पॉइंट्स निकालोगे जो आपको कोई और निकाल कर दे देगा। तो समरीज ढूंढो रिपोर्ट्स की, वहां से 2 पॉइंट्स उठाओ और उनका ऐसा रट्टा मार लो, कि अगर उससे रिलेटेड कहीं आ गया तो लिख देना है बस, एंड बिलीव मी यू वुड बी at much advantageous position than anyone else। मतलब 2 हाईलाइटेड तो पॉइंट ही होंगे, लेकिन इस पॉइंट का इस रिपोर्ट के नाम के साथ ऐसा रट्टा मारो कि कहीं आंसर आ गया तो मैं ये वाला पॉइंट लिख दूं, लेकिन हाँ दिस लिखना शुड नॉट बी फोर्सफुल, ये देखो कंटेक्स्ट बन रहा है नहीं बन रहा, दैट यू हैव टू लर्न, ये लिखने की प्रैक्टिस चाहिए। मानवी इस सवाल का जवाब मेरे पास नहीं है।
सर फिर मतलब कितना करे और क्या क्या करे?
नहीं तो देखो ऐसा होता है, देखो मेरी भी मजबूरी है कि मुझे ज्यादा डाटा ही देना पड़ता है, मैं सच बताता हूँ। Even I can frankly say that I give you more data than required। खाली अगर तुम उतना डाटा भी लिख लो ना which I have spoken from my mouth, नहीं ऐसा नहीं है, शायद यही तो एक फेक आइडिया है जो क्रिएट हो गया है कि सब करना है, डेफिनेटली आपको करना है। हाँ प्लीज
सर इट इज लाइक कि वुमेन रिलेटेड कोई क्वेश्चन आता है उस पे 1 या 2 डाटा लिख लो, एंड देन
बस
अगर क्लाइमेट पे आता है उसके लिए 2 डाटा लिख लो, ऐसे
बस
हर एक
यू शुड
क्वेश्चन
हैव
के लिए।
2-3 डाटा कि अगर वुमेन पे आएगा कोई क्वेश्चन, सपोज करो कि वो यही पूछ लिया कि व्हाट आर द प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ वुमेन and what can be the solution so that we can improve the condition of women in India। तो बहुत जनरल है, हर कोई जानता है कि भैया लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन रेट इंडिया में कम है, पैट्रियार्की है, हर कोई यही लिखेगा, हर कोई यही लिखेगा द एजुकेशन इज नॉट देयर, यहाँ पर इनको जो क्या लैंड राइट्स नहीं मिल पाते हैं, टाइटल राइट्स मिलना नाम नहीं होता है, यू विल राइट दैट दे आर इन्वॉल्वड इन द पिंक कॉलर जॉब्स, यू विल राइट दैट दे आर सफरिंग फ्रॉम द ग्लास सीलिंग, यू विल राइट, तो ये पॉइंट्स आप लिखोगे सारे और हर कोई वही लिखेगा, डिफरेंस कहाँ क्रिएट करोगे? फॉर दैट यू नीड डाटा कि भैया वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम कह रहा है कि इंडिया में 17% ही लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन रेट है फीमेल का, तो कहीं ना कहीं वो डाटा डालना ही पड़ेगा टू मेक दैट डिफरेंस। ऑल्दो और लोग भी कर रहे होंगे, बट दैट विल पुट यू इन द कैटेगरी ऑफ 1%, जो सिर्फ 1% लोग कर रहे हैं, गेटिंग मी? फिर आप लिखोगे कि हाँ भैया पिंक कॉलर जॉब्स में इंडिया में ऐसा थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम, थोड़ा सा मतलब कुछ ऐसा 1-2 वर्ड्स ऐसे लिखे आप, फिर सॉल्यूशन में लिखोगे अच्छा ठीक है क्या कर सकते हैं, तो पॉलिटिकल जो बिल पेंडिंग है 1/3 ऑफ वुमेन रिजर्वेशन के लिए पार्लियामेंट में, उसको पास ऑन कर दो। वी हैव डन अ ग्रेट जॉब इन पंचायती राज, लाइक बिहार हैव प्रोवाइड 50% रिजर्वेशन टू द वुमेन इन पंचायती राज। तो इस तरह से चीजों को इंक्लूड करना सीखो। यू हैव दैट डाटा इन योर माइंड, इतना पढ़ चुके हो कि वो डाटा कहीं ना कहीं फिक्स हो चुका है, बस उसे यूज करने का तरीका सीखना है। और जैसे जैसे सीखते जाओगे, लिखते जाओगे, करते जाओगे, मेहनत करते जाओगे, यू विल लर्न। अब वुमेन पे जितना पढ़ा है वो याद आ जाना चाहिए, वुमेन नाम सुनती है, दैट्स द कंडीशन, और वो सब 1 मिनट में याद आना चाहिए। गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? 1 मिनट में याद आना चाहिए, then you will be able to write better answers in 8 minutes, less of the 8 minutes। फिर आराम से लिखो, कोई टेंशन नहीं। देखो क्या बोलूं मैं, क्या जाकी रही भावना जैसी, तो मुदत ने देखी जैसी। Things are as you see them। Yes man, things are like you see as you see them। तो बड़ा समझोगे तो क्वाइट बिगर। और ये मेरी लास्ट क्लास नहीं है, तो मुझे मेरा टॉपिक खत्म करने दो। ये सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट हो गया, ठीक है। ये नो पॉवर्टी, जीरो हंगर, गुड हेल्थ, क्वालिटी एजुकेशन, जेंडर इक्वालिटी, क्लीन वाटर, दिस alternate and clean energy, so renewable energy में ग्रेट कम किया है, decent work and economic growth, this industry innovation infrastructure, required inequalities, reduce inequalities, sustainable cities, responsible consumption, circular economy यहाँ आ जाएगा, ठीक है। There's climate action, 14 है life below water, 15 है forest, life on land, forest वगैरह, then there's peace, justice and institutions, and finally the partnership, global partnership for achieving all these goals. तो ये है 17 सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स। इस फोटो इमेज को निकालना, अपने मोबाइल या लैपटॉप की स्क्रीन पर लगाना, एंड कीप रिवाइजिंग देम, ताकि इनका फ्रीक्वेंट यूज कर सको। और कुछ बेहतर चाहते हो तो थोड़ी मेहनत कर लो फॉर अ ईयर और टू, दैट्स इट। अब है हमारा लास्ट टॉपिक, क्लाइमेट चेंज। दिस इज आवर लास्ट टॉपिक दैट वी आर गोइंग फ्रॉम नाउ। तो इसमें ज्यादा कुछ नहीं डिस्कस करना है हमें। The things which we are going to discuss, ocean acidification क्या है, you know very well, global warming क्या है, you know very well, ozone depletion क्या है, you know very well, है ना, all the sea level rise क्या है, you know very well, ये सब आपको पता है कहीं ना, है ना। मैं बस इनको लेकर चलता रहूँगा, एक्सप्लेन करता रहूँगा, and finally I'll be giving you the solutions, that what can be the solution for different climate, the problems of climate change। और ये रियलिटी है, इसको साबित करने के लिए आप डाटा यूज कर सकते हैं आईपीसीसी का, या जो हिंदू कुश माउंटेन्स पर जो रिपोर्ट आई है, दैट कैन बी कि भैया क्लाइमेट चेंज रियलिटी है। द मेल्टिंग ऑफ ग्लेशियर्स, द राइजिंग ऑफ सी लेवल्स इज एक्चुअली अकरिंग विद कंक्रीट एविडेंसेस। तो क्लाइमेट चेंज है क्या? सबसे पहले तो यू नो वेरी वेल दैट व्हाट इज क्लाइमेट। तो क्लाइमेट इज नथिंग बट क्लाइमेट इज समथिंग जो एवरेज है वहाँ के टेम्परेचर प्रेशर कंडीशंस का ओवर अ वेरी लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, 30 to 35 years, 30 to 35 years, and the changes in the climate, they occur very slowly that we can even to notice them, it takes a good amount of time। यानी ये 1970s 80s में जो क्लाइमेट चेंज बिगिन हुआ था, we were not able to notice it with that frequency जो हम आज नोटिस कर रहे हैं। Getting me? It is all because कि जो changes हम आज नोटिस कर रहे हैं, we have this UNFCCC framework, और उसमें पेरिस गोल्स लेकर आते हैं, फिर हम मॉन्ट्रियल प्रोटोकॉल लेकर आते हैं, किगाली एग्रीमेंट लेकर आते हैं, so that we can somehow save our environment, somehow we can reduce the level of climate change, because climate change एक natural phenomena है। It has been there in every age or every era or every epoch, हमेशा हुआ है। But the only problem now is that it has been aggravated, accelerated by the humans, exaggerated, वैसे exaggerated शायद गलत शब्द, the aggravated was the correct word, accelerated is the correct word। The climate change has been accelerated by the humans। So things which were earlier changing over a very long period of time, now they have started changing within few years, within few decades। जैसे कि एग्जांपल फिर हम वापस कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड पर आ सकते हैं, that for the past 280 or 300 million years, the concentration of the carbon dioxide was 280 ppm, 280 से 300 ppm maximum। ये डाटा हम कई बार यूज कर चुके हैं, but now yes you know it very well now that this has reached to 412 ppm, और ये डाटा किसका है? नासा का, from 2020 only, which is a definite evidence that you know carbon is a greenhouse gas, CO2 is a greenhouse gas, which is absorbing, the heat absorbing tendency has got। So what it leads to? It leads to generation of a large amount of, not generation but the absorption of heat, increasing the temperature of Earth। When the global warming is occurring, it leads to another problem, sea level rise, other problems like latitudinal shift of the species, the species are shifting from one latitude towards the northern or southern parts, because they are not the heat which is there, they are not able to tolerate it, so moving towards the cooler places। Then what would happen to the polar species? The polar bear would become extinct, the seals would become extinct, they live on the glaciers. अगर वही नहीं रहे तो where they will be living? Somewhere we people are destroying their habitat. Somewhere the penguins' habitat, the habitat of polar bears, seals, reindeer. Somewhere we people are destroying their habitats. Where they will go? They will be completely disappeared from the face of Earth. So the climate change has been there for billions of years. और इसके भी सबूत है. Like you might have seen the Jurassic or Triassic ages में, the dinosaurs were living there. Now they are completely eliminated from the face of Earth. Even I think कि अगर तब humans होते Jurassic और Triassic age में, तो मुझे तब भी humans उन्हें बर्बाद कर देते. We fear that what dinosaurs would have done to us. I fear what we would have done to the dinosaurs. Yes, don't you people feel like that? What we would have done to the dinosaurs? Human mind is something very dangerous. Not only for others, हमारे खुद के लिए भी कई बार dangerous हो जाता है. The Earth's climate has changed many times due to the problems like volcanic eruption. तो मैंने कल शायद कभी कुछ दिन पहले बताया था वर्ल्ड ज्योग्राफी में that the volcanic eruption that is occurring, it can lead to generation of huge amount of clouds. Clouds generate होंगे, aerosol material यहाँ पर आके इकट्ठा हो जाएगा. It will block the sunlight. It would reduce the temperature below, and this has led to the Pleistocene or Ice Age. Pleistocene or Ice Age. तो ऐसा नहीं पहली बार हो रहा है. This has happened earlier also. The Pleistocene हटा, फिर धीरे-धीरे the ice melted, the glaciers gave way to different type of climate. The hot conditions now they have prevailed. Yes, so this has happened again and again and again. But अभी समस्या क्या आ रही है? There are two things. The humans. The one thing is nature itself. तो अभी दो समस्याएं क्या है? एक तो जो भी चेंज हो रहा है वो ह्यूमंस को इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है, और दूसरा जो चेंज हो रहा है हम उसे इम्पैक्ट कर रहे हैं. Are you getting my point? कि पहले ऐसे चेंजेस हुए, we were not there, तो हमें कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ा. We didn't even consider it. कैसा कुछ हुआ अभी छोड़ो. But now we are here. तो अगर कोई चेंज नेचर भी करता है तो that impacts us, तो हम क्लाइमेट चेंज को सीरियसली लेते हैं. अगर हमारी वजह से कुछ हो रहा है, we are causing some changes, तो then also we take it seriously. तो फिर ऐसा होने लगा like whatever changes which are occurring on the face of Earth, we attribute it to the climate change. अभी तो ऐसा बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ गया. कहीं अचानक बारिश हो गई, क्लाइमेट चेंज. कहीं अचानक स्नोफॉल हो गया, क्लाइमेट चेंज. Though it's a reality, but it has also become that escape game. इसका नाम ले दो और बच जाओ. So the anthropogenic causes have become the major drivers, and ये सबूत कहाँ से मिलते हैं? NASA has recorded the temperature and has found that the warmest years of the Earth has been there in the last 20 years. 2016, 2017, 2019, and 2020. They have been the warmest year. 2017 warmest year on Earth. ये year था when we reached 1 degree centigrade temperature. 2020 despite La Nina, it was one of the warmest year. Despite La Nina जो cooling effect create करता है. Getting me? और ये तब है जब हम लॉकडाउन में बैठे हुए थे for most of the 2020. So NASA says the definition of climate change from NASA, as we can take, the climate change describes a change in the average conditions of temperature and rainfall in a region over a very long period of time, generally 30 to 35 years. 30 to 35 years. For example, 20,000 years ago, much of the US was covered with the glaciers. जैसा कि Pleistocene में हुआ, तो Pleistocene led to coverage of the glaciers. फिर finally the climate change, warmer climate emerged. Glaciers यहाँ से melt out हो गए, और फिर Great Lakes of America बन गई. The Great Lakes of America got created. But it's a very slow process. Very slow process. अब problem slow process ही है. Problem क्या है? Slow process ही है. Because the nature has its own tendency to bring the changes. Its own tendency to move in a direction. है ना? तुलसीदास जी says that धीरे धीरे रे मना, धीरे धीरे सब कुछ होए, और माली सींचे 100 घड़ा, ऋतु आवे फल हुआ. Are you getting the point? That even if that gardener gives 100 cans of water, as irrigation, the fruits on the plants would only come with the season. It's not that you give a lot of water and the fruits would come tomorrow. This does not happen in the nature. The nature has its own speed, and if you try to alter it, it is definitely going to harm nature somewhere. Getting my point? I've been reading few articles for last few days. Okay, they have grown 200 vegetables on their roof. They have grown this much without soil on their roof. Urban farming is getting the culture of urban farming is getting promoted. With the time, you will notice their repercussions, that they don't have this material, they don't have this resource, these vegetables are not at all healthy. With time, don't worry, abhi nahi aayenge such, but with time. Because when you are not doing in a manner nature has been doing it, you will not getting those resources or those potential benefits that the nature would be giving. Like difference to aayega. Difference to aayega. I have interest in reading all these research reports. So उनको देखता रहता हूँ कहीं ना कहीं. So without soil, the fruits or the food which is generated, they may be harmful and they may further bring the climate change. Because soil carbon को absorb करता है, but in that case there is no absorption of carbon. Let's see जो भी होता है. So the major part of the world today is suffering from the climate change. The worst scenario can be seen in Arctic. A large part of Arctic is melting at a very fast rate, and it is quite possible that during summers it may become completely navigable within few years, or maybe in a half a decade. Completely navigable हो सकता है Arctic in summers. It is quite possible. अगला टॉपिक है ग्रीन हाउस इफेक्ट. So you very well know what greenhouse effect is. Greenhouse effect is a peculiar property. It's a peculiar, special property of our greenhouse gases, and this effect has made the life possible on Earth. This very effect makes the life possible. क्या होता है इसमें? It's very simple. Earth has got a covering of gases. These gases, they are creating a greenhouse effect. What is greenhouse effect at the very first point? This effect is a natural process which warms the surface of Earth. How? The gases here, when the light from the sun comes, they allow them to pass freely. Because these are the waves of high frequency and low wavelength. They let them pass. But after getting reflected from the Earth, they become long wavelength and low frequency waves, which are trapped by the gases. And these long wave terrestrial radiations, when trapped, right, it's like a glass. The glass allows the sun rays to pass in the solar panel, but does not let the long wave radiation, reflected radiation, to pass back. So this happens with the gases. So they does not let the Earth's radiation to pass fully. Though they later, at the later stage, they radiate that heat, but that heat is retained for a longer duration, and this heats the surface of Earth. और ऐसा करने वाली one of the major gases CO2. Although methane भी ऐसा करती है, although greenhouse gases they do this. CO2 is the major. You know, पहले CO2 का amount कम था, so such was the condition that it made life on Earth possible because of that appropriate temperature it had maintained. But now, since the concentration of CO2 and other GHGs is increasing, so definitely it would increase the average temperature of Earth 30 or 35. Yes or no? Somewhere it is increasing the temperature levels of Earth because of the rise in concentration of greenhouse gases. So those radiated gases or those reflected waves, they will not be allowed to pass further. Further absorption would be done, and further the heat would increase with rising greenhouse effect on Earth, with rising the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So सबसे पहले these gases were important, very very important for maintaining the temperature or life on Earth. पर अगर अब नहीं होंगी और या ज़्यादा होंगी, In both the cases, they would become a pollutant, making Earth a desert. A desert. Yes, so I think that's enough for greenhouse effect. Definition I have in here. You can see how it is important. This makes the Earth warmer, without which अगर atmosphere ही नहीं होता Earth का, तो Earth warm नहीं होती. It is all because of this atmosphere that performs the greenhouse effect that Earth is a lies in the Goldilocks zone. Goldilocks zone. Made the Earth a comfortable planet to live. So it is very important, if you want to remain in this planet, it is very important for you to conserve it, to manage it. Okay. Then global warming. So since rise in the concentration of greenhouse gases and the other anthropogenic activities, they have led to, GHGs have increased because of the anthropogenic activities, leading to adverse environmental conditions. Example वही CO2 वाला, और भी कुछ examples हैं if you want. Methane का ही है, like methane has increased by 148%. Methane has increased by 148% since the 1750s level. 1750s, जो कि industrial revolution जहाँ start हुआ था. The rise in methane is by 148%, but while for carbon dioxide is for 38%. Because carbon dioxide has short life compared to methane and all. So there are many reasons which has led to the problems. अच्छा पहले कुछ causes की बात तो कर लें. What has led to climate change? यानी अभी कौन से human made steps हैं? I would say what are the anthropogenic causes or the natural causes which has led to the problem of climate change? Led to the problem of climate change. Yes, new people are going to tell you the natural causes and the anthropogenic causes. बताओ. Pollution. Okay, pollution. Volcanic eruption that can be taken the natural cause. एक दो volcanic eruption हुए, Pinatubo और Eklikon. 1982 में Eklikon blast हुआ और 1991 में Pinatubo. And both of these they led to very large scale emissions. इतना कि Earth के temperature reduce हुआ. Earth का temperature got reduced by 1 or 2 degrees centigrade for some time. For some time. Till the time the aerosols were there in the nature air or atmosphere, then it settled down. Finally, the temperature is again. Small scale वाले impact नहीं करते. If there is one severe blast, so it impacts. Same for Genghis Khan. मतलब Genghis Khan ने अकेले ही change करवा दिया. Urbanization, yes, Rashmi. Forest fire, I can agree. Forest fire natural ले सकते हैं. Artificial clouds, okay, to some extent I can agree. वो तो yes, rise in population, overpopulation, oil drilling. Vehicular emissions, industrial emissions that can be included. Unregulated geological sequestration, that also is a serious problem. Transportation. Agriculture, agriculture is also a problem. Deforestation is definitely. Agriculture is a serious problem. Fossil fuels and deforestation. Then changes in sun. Sun has got a cycle. Sun has got a cycle. Sunspot cycle बोलते हैं. Sunspot cycle. So the amount of heat generated from the sun increases and decreases over the period of time. That also brings the climate change on the face of Earth. In photosphere. वहाँ से sunspots निकलते हैं, solar winds निकलती हैं. They causes some of the climate change. Power plants. Assembly palm से. Okay. So if you want to write, you can write them. बाकी तो the natural causes include the changes in sun, emission from volcanoes, variation in the Earth's rotational speed, either rotation or revolution speed. that also brings changes on face of Earth. Climate change उससे भी होता है, rotational speed of Earth, है ना? And anthropogenic, so we all know, we have written lot many causes. Angle of summaries. Because the heat balance changes, in सब की वजह से, and the heat balance changes, definitely temperature. फिर अब आते हैं what impacts the climate change has caused, or the consequences of climate change. Greenhouse effect, melting of glacier and rising of sea level. What else? The forest fire is again a cause and a consequence, you know. Forest fire, a cause and a consequence. Acid rain, oh my god, acid rain, food deficiency, very good. Crop failures, habitat loss, oh my god. Good. Food deficiency, definitely. Crop failures, drought and flood, good. No, intensified storms and heat waves are there. Ocean acidification and sea level rise we have discussed. Changing landscape like melting of ice, forest fires. Rise in health related issues like vector-borne disease would increase with rise in sea level. Coral bleaching, yes. Then the economic losses are there. Agriculture productivity gets decreased. Wildlife is at risk due to disaster, habitat loss. Higher global temperatures, definitely. So ये causes और consequences भी लिखे ना within the climate change. And with this I have to end my class for today. तो अब बहुत ज़्यादा कुछ बचा नहीं है, देखो बहुत छोटे-छोटे टॉपिक्स हैं, ये तो ठीक है, this we will not be focusing on, भी ज़्यादातर पता है आप लोग. ओजोन डिप्लीशन मैं ज़्यादा नहीं बताने वाला, बिकॉज आई फील कि आपके साइंस के टीचर ने कवर कराया है पहले, है ना, तो आप वहाँ से देख सकते हैं ओजोन डिप्लीशन. Finally, these are some extreme events that has been occurring on the face of Earth. मतलब ऐसा हो सकता है, ये डाटा है WMO का, वर्ल्ड मेटीरियोलॉजिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, के 35 million people have accepted that they were affected by the floods. ये डाटा देखो सब क्रेडिबल सोर्सेस है, UNI SDR से. Excessive eutrophication, ocean acidification, source इसका भी, मतलब you can see the each and every with data with source. That 1600 people are associated with heat waves and wildfires, deaths. Deforestation or increase in the oxygen levels of the oceans. Then the International Organization for Migration का data है that 2 million people have been displaced. The climate refugees. Yes. 821 million are malnourished due to drought, source foul. So these are several problems. We will be discussing others in a very short. This ocean acidification and global warming. And finally, we will be moving towards the solution, how to tackle the climate change. बस यही एक class बची है, that will be arranging probably within this week. और फिर आपका environment खत्म, ठीक है? ये कुछ questions हैं, if you people want to write, can climate change be associated with rising biological oxygen demand? हाँ, to an extent yes. अगर temperature बढ़ेगा, तो the dissociation or destruction of that organism would also increase. Rate of I would say the biological decomposition would increase, and in that context biological oxygen demand बढ़ेगी. But direct linkages कभी ऐसे नहीं देखे गए, तो मतलब मैं comment नहीं करूँगा, but हाँ yes, definitely it will increase. Yes, Deepak.
So I'll send you these questions and the other two which you have already given by Sunday.
Definitely you people can. You have 3 questions in front of you. The climate change is a global problem. How India will be affected by climate change? How the Himalayan and the coastal states of India. Actually, previous years. What is wetland? Explain the concept of Ramsar, concept of vice use. wise use in context of wetland conservation. Cite two examples of Ramsar sites from India. How does the biodiversity vary in India? How is the Biological Diversity Act 2002 helpful in conservation of flora? एक और क्वेश्चन है जो मैंने बनाया है EIA पर, तो चलो देखते हैं. I'll be forwarding you after a while. अभी ये लिखो, दो तीन है, at least cite two of them.